Hi, class. This is my week 6 discussion response. I honestly didn't think very deeply about the genes or genetics. I knew that we inherit traits from our parents, like eye color or height, but kind of thought it was all random. I also assumed genetics engineering was just a modern medical tool to fix problems, like curing diseases, and that was about it. I never really considered the bigger picture of the ethical side. This week's lectures and reading really challenged my understanding in a couple of big ways. The first thing that changed for me was realizing how complex genetics actually is. I used to think that I used to think it was as simple as one gene controlling one trait, but the video showed that traits can be influenced by multiple genes working together, and even by environment. It helped me understand why people in the same family can look really different, or why predicting genetic traits isn't always as clear as Punnett square. That was an eye-opening for me because I always imagined genetics as a very black and white when it's actually really more layered. The second thing that changed for me was the ethical discussion about genetic engineering. Before the week, I mostly saw it as a positive thing. If we can prevent diseases, then why not? But the reading talked about something called commodification, where technology is used to customize embryos based on parent preferences, almost like designing a product. That idea honestly made me uncomfortable. It made me think about where the line is between helping and controlling. Just because we can do something doesn't automatically mean we should. My faith had a big influence on how I responded to this. As a Christian, I believe every person is created in God's image, and our value doesn't come from our abilities, appearance, or genetics. That belief makes me supportive of using science to heal or reduce suffering, but but conscious about using it to try to create a perfect human. My faith reminds me that God created humans with a purpose and dignity, and we need humility when dealing with something as sacred as human life. We aren't meant to play God or decide which traits make someone more valuable. And then for the second part of the assignment, I want to summarize Gregor Mendel's work because I thought it was really interesting and easy to understand. Mendel was a monk who studied pea plants in the 1800s. He noticed that certain traits like seed color or plant height showed patterns when crossed different plants. By carefully recording which traits appeared in each generation, he discovered that traits are passed down through what he called units, which is now called genes. His big idea was that these units don't blend together. They are separate and they're inherited in predictable ways, even though he was just working with simple plants. His research became foundation of modern genetics. What stood out to me was Mendel wasn't trying to change anything. He was simply observing an order and design already existed in nature. That connected to my faith as well, because it shows that the creation was structure and purpose built into it. It had structure and purpose built into it. Overall, this week's helped me see the genetics not just as a scientific subject, but as something that involves ethics, faith, and how we view human life. It changed it changed me to think more deeply about how we use technology, and reminded me that respecting human dignity should always be priority. Thank you.